This is our second time for conference sessions. Today's afternoon we have two participants. The first one, my dear friend, colleague, Magister Omar Alexis Pinzón Fernandez. He has different university titles. The point is that in Spanish I will try to make, kind of translation. Yeah, that's the point. Yeah. And well, he has a master's degree in law and also in high teaching, major, Master of Arts in English, professor of secondary teacher. He has a lot of experience having seminars, ESL seminars, with Meduca and also University of Panama. He has been teaching English with Meduca since 2003. Oh. Well, 2000 something. I don't remember exactly. He's specialist in linguistics, applied linguistics. So for me, it's a great pleasure to introduce my friend and colleague, Magister Omar Pinzón, who will be sharing with us a very interesting topic in this field of English for all of you today. So please let's give a great applause for Magister Omar Pinzón.
Okay, good afternoon once over again. I will begin with guessing, phonetic guessing. I don't know if you already have the answer. That's a simple one. It says, what three letters of the alphabet are good for your body? Do we have a guessing now? May you think about it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No guessing. Energy. N-R-G. That's good for our body. Energy. And then we can begin. Okay, this conference is based on understanding pronunciation variation facing ESL students in a Panamanian context. Why variation? Because not only in all places, people have the same pronunciation. Even here in Panama, if you go to Boca del Toro or Darien or Limon nearby the border, you can even listen to people, or even if you go to Colon Island, you will listen to people speaking in a different way. If you go to Jamaica, Australia, USA, South Africa, England, anywhere, those people have different variations, and then that's why you should not be amazed when you listen freaky pronunciation or a tough pronunciation or a different word like bombastic, like outstanding, or the like, whatever one. This is just a brief theoretical overview, because that's just like an introduction to what we have to deal with today. It says, good pronunciation brings success to ESL students in our society. If you have a good pronunciation, you can communicate, and you can even understand whatever word or sounds you listen to, because that's the clue to communicate. On the contrary, that's what you will get. You won't be clear on what you want to transfer. some people go to movies, theaters, and say like, I went there, or you can even meet American people or native speaker of English, and you may even say, okay, I was just sharing some words, I couldn't get any, drift of it because I couldn't understand. What happens is that there are some sounds or what we call contoids. When we say contoids, we refer to consonant sounds. And when we say vocoids, we refer to vowel sounds. And then there are some vowel sounds that we don't have in Spanish. And it happens with some contoids or consonant sounds. For example, we don't have velar sounds, interdental sounds. We don't have some fricative or affricate sounds. But because the one that we have similarity with are not the right one. Those are better known as we say. Well, we will see that before beginning because that's just figurative language. That's what we use. We don't use the right, phonetic. When we teach pronunciation, we try just to get the figurative because phonetics is a very special science of linguistics. It says, precisely speaking, great pronunciation competence in English is able to make others understand easily. Easily means that if you speak to a native speaker, if you don't use the right pronunciation, you won't be understood. If instead of saying teacher, you say t-shirt, and then the other person, that person is going to understand that you're speaking about dressing or the like. Or instead of saying number 8, you say A, letter A. You're not gonna communicate anything. You won't be, um, um, you will break communication in this way. And it happens with different sounds. Okay, I have to get shorted because it would take like 2 hours, but I will try to get shorter with that. Okay, phonetics. Here, our strongest muscles is our tongue because that's a clue for you to produce and pronounce different sounds. Because if you try, for example, alveolarization, you have to put the tip of the tongue against the alveolar ridge. That's the back part of the upper teeth. And that's very difficult for us because we don't have those sounds in our native language, Spanish. And it happens with labiodental, and when, for example, V, we don't have the V sound in Spanish. Instead of saying, for example, vaca, we say vaca. And instead of saying vampiro, we say vampiro anyway. And it happens with think and those. We don't have those sounds. What we do is just we have just to try to use figurative language. Okay, Spanish speakers of English. It says for Spanish speakers of English, the common pronunciation problem mainly fall in long vowel and voice consonant. Okay, when we say long vowel, it refers to tense vowel sounds or tense contoid. In English, there are like 12 vocoids or vocoids because they are referring to vowel sounds plus elongation. Elongation depends on the vibration of the vocal cords. For example, if you say E and E, E is lax and E is tense. When you say eat, eating, you eat pizza. If you say you eat pizza, you are using just the lax sound and you're not saying, maybe for inference you will communicate something, but
not because you are using the right pronunciation. When you do production, that's phonology, and when you do transcription, that's phonetics. And then that's what we have here to deal with. And also the sound d, and t. Those two sounds don't exist in Spanish because they are alveolar. Our t and d are dental. We put the tip of the tongue against the back part of the upper teeth to do the dental or dentalization. After that, I will explain, points of articulation, manner of articulation, and voicing, just for you to be clear. And then we will do some exercises just for you to rehearse your tongue and to get relaxed about it. It says differences between short and long vowel. It depends on voicing. For example, if I have the word bet, bet, I bet. And bed, where you lie on when you are sleepy, it turns a little bit elongated because of the vibration of the d sound. The sound is alveolar. You say bed. Even if I try to shorten that word, I cannot do it because I say bed and bed. If I say, for example, beat, beat, and beat. And even if we have some similar sounds in Spanish, they are not the same. In Spanish, they are not the same. For example, we say bebe, but in English it should be bebe. That's a total closure. Those are bilabial sounds. You say, for example, papa, but in English should be papa. You say pot, or baby, baby. Total closure. If you do it in a partial closure, then that's just a Latin pronunciation. Okay, we should know the articulatory phonetics. Here you can even identify, I think that's visible enough at the back. It says nasal cavity. Nasal cavity are for those sounds that go through, your nose. But just imagine if a nosy person produce nasal sounds. Just try to tip your nose, and then you will see. I cannot say, for example, my name because I'm not nosy. But if you do it, and even when you stammer, if you're a stutterer, or then you will switch, or in this case, you will change even your pronunciation. The alveolar ridge. That alveolar ridge is something hilly that you have at the back part of your upper teeth. That hilly uh, that hilly stuff that we have there is very important for English because you should put the teeth the tip of the tongue against it. Even when you produce the sound and the z sound, the s is different to z. When you say, for example, seal, C-E, the tense E, seal and zeal, they sound different. We don't have that sound of z or z in Spanish. It does exist just in English. We have the palate, that's the roof of the mouth. We have velum, that's something that is a pearl-like, stuff that move when you speak. Well, if you don't use backward or vocoids with back pronunciation. It says, and then you have the front of the tongue, the blade of the tongue, and the back of the tongue, and the tongue tip. Those are just describing it. We also have the vocal cords, and what we call glottis, and the trachea. Okay, here, place of articulation. May you tell me what do you understand by bilabial, but in English? Because it doesn't make sense if you do it in Spanish. Bilabial. Two lips together. But in English, bilabial sounds should be total closure, and it does not happen in Spanish. Total closure means that you have to do it like this, p and b. Differences: p is voiceless, b is voiced. Voice, if you produce a sound, you just use three fingers and then you will feel it. Boo, 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 with the vibration. You feel the vibration. If you say p, 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 pa, 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 no vibration because those are voices. No vibration of the vocal cords. Labiodental, lips, lips, upper lips, and I mean lower lip and teeth. You say b. You say f. We don't have the b sound. We don't have in Spanish. We don't have the b sound. That's just in English. But we should do it, but we don't use it. We, instead of saying baka, we should say baka. But just imagine people saying, "Oh, check out that baka." Yo, oh, where is that whoever from? And then that's just something amazing. Interdental. We don't have interdental sounds because you have to put the tip of the tongue, between the upper and lower teeth. Like, just you have to be very, quick when putting the tip of the tongue out and in because you can split it if you are, slow and doing that stuff. Alveolar, all those contoids where you put the tip of the tongue against the alveolar ridge, the back, that chili stuff that you have at the back part of the upper teeth. Simple that is. Palatals or palatals, either way, when you produce, when you say or listen a different pronunciation, it does not mean that that's wrong or not. There is a place where, you can even get it. Palatal is with the roof of the mouth. Just when the blade of the tongue, touch it, then you get a palatal sound. Velar with the velum. It's like a pearl-like stuff, at the back part of your tongue, but that's hanging on, and then it moves when you speak. Manner of articulation. We have stop, fricative, affricate, nasals, lateral, and voice. Well, there are some other ones that are missing, like retroflex, and there are no other ones that we don't have there because they don't exist in English. For example, stops when you use a sound like, for example, bilabial or alveolar, like t and d. If it is at the beginning, it is explosive, like tip, tip. If it is in the middle, like stop, that's release, and unreleased when it is at the end, like teeth. Then fricative, it has to deal with friction. Friction, like for example, measure or fissure, sh, the sh and the j. Affricate, because that's a combination between alveolar and fricative. Like for example, teacher, church. Nasalization. Those sounds are produced when the air goes through the nasal cavity, like and as you were swallowing your tongue. Lateral, the ul sound. Lateral, the ul sound. Well, there are like three ones: French, Spanish, and English. They are not totally, lateral. I mean the Spanish one, and then retroflex, the sound. Not the trill. The trill sound does not exist in English. Like I cannot produce it because I have a tongue tie, and then that's why it says voicing have to deal with voicelessness or voiced have to deal with vibration. Manner of articulation. This is just an exercise. It says, talking softly, everyone in the class should talk softly as they say something, just for you to realize about something. And then whispering, everyone in the class should whisper as they say something. It is not the same when you speak, aloud and when you whisper, because when you whisper, you don't make an effort to produce those sounds, and then that's why. When you talk softly in church, rather than whispering, your voice will carry out throughout the church as well. That way we call reverberation of sounds, but that's when the place is closed and with curtains and things. Nasalization. The belly in the back of the throat opens and closes the nasal cavity to allow nasalization or not. You produce the sounds and the tongue, the blade of the tongue, lock up the roof of the mouth, and then it forces the air to go through the nasal cavity. And then a physical that's a problem, then it won't happen. For example, nosy people, or a stutterer, or when someone stammer, or any other kind of problem. If the palate is defective, then many sounds become nasalized that should not be nasalized, and then that's why it says nosy and stutterer. Dentalization. It is more for Spanish than for English, so it is not so important for us now. It says you should keep it, and you can even say, like, for example, padre instead of, if you use the with alveolarization, you would say, instead of using dental, you use alveolar. You would say like padre instead of padre, or for example, in Spanish, instead of saying to, todo, todo or todo, like that. And then that's why it is important. People with anedoid problems and with colds in the noses sound denasalized, means that they could not, or in this case, they're not gonna produce nasal sounds correctly. Yeah, because your nasal cavity is closed or partially closed. Like and Now everyone in the class, that's just for you to do that, should hold their nose as they say something, either resulting sound, a nasal sound, or a denasalized sound. Explain. No stammering. No stammering means that you should not do a stuttering sound. Are the nasal sounds in English stop or continuous? What do you think? Continuous means that they goes on, but stop means that it breaks, and stand by. But I don't know, what do you think? Are nasal sounds in English stops or continuance? Stops, continuance, continuance. Somehow they are, yeah. Uh, Technically they are stops, but phonetically, speaking, they are continuous, because you say you say and you say mm, mm. The ñ sound does not exist in English, but in Spanish. Okay, from the point of view, it is there. We have the answer here. Of the mouth, they are stops. However, from the point of view of the nose, they are continuous. That's why. But there are two viewpoints there. Change of pitch. It says voice box. It is also called the larynx. We also know it as glottal or glottal sound. As air passes through the larynx, it can be cut off voiceless, and it can be allowed through voiceless. For example, when we use glottalization, glottal sounds for the alveolar sounds, when they are between, you know, the and it turns glottalized. For example, when you say mountain, that sound is with a glottis. Mountain, carton, Clinton, Latin, written, like that. If the air is allowed through, but the vocal folds are held close together, the result is a high pitch. They are held close together. It depends on, for example, in this case, statements or questions. You say, "What's that?" High, or "What's your full name?" Then it goes up and down. Identify the sound. Identify the features. It says three features, and you will give the unique sound that these three features identify. Example. Um, and may you give an example of, it says three features, but at least two of them. It says, you will give a sound and then I will explain it. Give three sounds. If I say, because you should learn how to read, the chart of vocoids and the chart of contoid. With the chart of contoid, you begin with points of articulation, voicing, and manner of articulation. If I say, okay, alveolar, voice, stop, contoid, may you produce that sound? Alveolar, voiced, stop, contoid. Which, no, the sound. I don't want you to repeat what I'm saying. That the sound is, I'm just telling you, another one, the last one. Bilabial, voiced, stop sound. Bilabial. B. B, 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 b. Well, with vocoids, it works differently. You begin with highness, then with fronting, mid and back of the tongue, and then if it is high, if it is mid or low, and then you at the end vocoid. For example, if I tell you, well, that's kind of phonology. If I say like a high front, high front, high front, high front, low vocoid. That's how that sounds is what we have in Spanish, like E, the normal E, not the tense E that does not exist in Spanish. Okay, points of articulation. We mentioned manners of articulation, and those are the points of articulation. You have to be very acquainted with those sounds because you should know how to use them in the appropriate place. Nasal cavity, you already know where it is because you have used the nose cavity, the tongue, the jaw we have. You have to open it. We have upper lip, hard plate. We have hard palate and soft palate, but that's in the same, same row. Tooth ridge or alveolar ridge, that's the same. Tooth ridge because that's at the back part of the upper teeth. Nasal passage is related to nasal cavity. Belly, velum, tongue mid, the central part of the tongue, that's a mid. Back part, you should swallow when you say, for example, developing or thing, that thing. Tongue tip, lower tip, lip, vocal fold or vocal cord, or those are the articulators and the points of articulation. That's a flash because it takes time. Okay, we have phonetic alphabet here. phonetic alphabet for producing those sounds. It says, for example, contoids and vocoids and vowels or vocoids and consonant sounds, vowel sounds. We have the first one. May you produce those sounds as they should be. You should produce them accordingly. For example, pio, pio, oh, lateral. P is explosive and lateral at the end. Pio, pio, not pill. It is not pill, but pio. It should sound. Not imitating a native speaker because it sounds like, freaky. It's not saying like, oh, for God's love, the world again is not in that way, just normally. Bio, bio, meal, not meal, but it should sound as English and not as Latin pronunciation. Feel, the is labial, dental, and the e is large or tense. Feel, not feel. Feeling the tongue or feel it, feel it. Then it should be a tense sound. The e and not the e. E, 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 e. Then we have bio, bio, v. That's a labial dental, the labial dental sound. And we have thigh, 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 not thigh, thigh. Die. Die is archaic, but it does not longer exist. But it is in the Bible if you read it. Shield, shield, shield. Me, me, ten sound, jur, measure, measure. Alvila, till, not till. Till you want, no. Till. Then we have deal, not deal. Deal is dental and deal is alveolar. Kneel, nasal, kneel. But nasalization, but you have to put the tip of the tongue against the back part of the upper teeth, just to do like an alveo nasal sound. Then we have kneel, seal, seal. Tip of the tongue against the alveolar ridge or tooth ridge. And that one, the after seal, zeal, zeal, zeal when you're like jealous, zeal. You feel and chill, chill as you were going to sneeze like chill, chill, pretty easy. And Jill, not Jill but Jill, D and G. Alveopalatal, G, Jill. That's why it is affricate. And which, not which, which. And that sound is glottal too. Kill, kill, gill, and ring. As if you were going to swallow your tongue. Instead of saying ring, it's not ring, it's ring. Ring. Somehow it turns difficult because that's not part of our native, contoid, because we do it differently. We don't have those kinds of sounds in our language, in Spanish. That's why we say ring. It is ring, ring. I should exaggerate a little bit because in that way you can even, be aware, or in this case realize how it works, and then that's why you have to do it in that way. It says, then we have here, heal, like healing, heal. That sound is glottal, with the glottis, heal. Leave, it is not the same when you say I live, lax, and e tense, live, lives, the plural of live, e. Remember, you have to rehearse tensing your tongue or relaxing your tongue. That's why it is the strongest muscle as you saw at the beginning. It says riff, 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 and you, not you. This riff is tense sound. It is very easy to identify because it is always in combination, e or ea. And you like yes, not yes, because yes is a name of a person. It is yes. Oh yeah, yes. Okay, which. Okay, now vocoids or vowel sounds. If you see there, this sound, the first sound of the vocoids is tense. Beat, no beat, beating, but in this case it's beat. The second one is bait, bait, bait. After that, boot, boot. Remember that in English you have to produce even the last consonant or consonant sound. If not, then you're not gonna produce the sound. It's like less than figurative. You have to produce the sound accordingly or as it corresponds. After that, we have boat. That's a combination. Bo, o, and u. Boat. Boat. Don't worry about, spitting. If you spit, don't worry about. You can cover or you can even, use an umbrella. Okay, here it says ah. That's why it is called like bubble sound, like bat, bat, ah. It is not bat like or man. It is ah, man, man. If you notice, it is a little bit elongated because you say that vibrate when you produce that sound, and then you say man. In this case, is bat, but it is short because the is voiceless. That's why it is voiceless. Then we have here but. It is a shua sound, better known as shua sound. A shua sound is a very very low sound because it is as if you were not producing a sound. Instead of saying like as if you were omitting the you say bet, bet, as if you were coughing like that. Very simple. After that we have that combination bite, bite, boy, boy, not boy but boy. You see the differences there, the e and the e. Beat, lax, beat. After that, the the same a we have, the sound we have in Spanish. Bet, I bet you, you won't win that whatever contest or the like. Foot, foot. There are two different use or u. A tense one and a lax one. This is lax. That's why you say foot. Simple. The the u and the after that board. Bored. That's bored. That's why you're sleeping or sleeping like. Now, but maybe you were, uh, you woke up very early to watch the game. It says pot. This is very very open for example, hot dog, hot dog, and this is pot and bar, bar. Do you know what a bar is? A parking place. Well, that's just a sofa. That's a chua. You may even say like sofa, 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 as if it were not there. Au, Bout, bout. Simple. Okay, phonetic symbols. Here you have the order and how you should read. If I read this stuff you have there, you have to just identify the sound. And vice versa too. It says bilabial we have p and b. Alveolar we have t and d. And velar k and g. And glottal. That glottal sound is as a baby croc. And then we have here you have voiceless and voiced. Voiceless, no vibration. Voiced, vibration. Voiceless, no vibration. Voiced, vibration. Nasals, voiced. Nasals are voiced. And You have just to rehearse it in that way for you to be just acquainted with the right sound in this way. We have fricative. Fricative because you do a friction when you produce those sounds. It says like the and then we have and the. We have and as if you were drilling something, or even if you when you visit the dentist, it sounds the same like that. And you have sh and j, sh and j, and this sound is it is glottal, but it is also fricative. Fricate is a combination alveolar and fricative. Alveolar ridge and friction with the blade of the tongue and the roof of the mouth. It says like for example, teacher, measure, and glide. Glide like oo and e, like nyam, nyam. That's glide because in English the ny sound like nyam, nyame, nyame. That it does not exist in. A similar one is this one, E. And liquids like lateral and retroflex. Retroflex like but this is not the same that the one we have in Spanish. We don't say, for example, we don't say para, but para. We don't say instead of saying in Spanish, yo te quiero mucho, you would say, in using the retroflexion, you would say like, yo te quiero, then that's a very easy way to rehearse it. You say, quiero, and then that's the sound that you should use when producing a retroflex sound in English. You say, pero yo no sabía. You could say like, pero yo no sabía. Because they sound different because they do the same we do in Spanish. We use our, native bunch of sounds or contoids and vowels, and then that what happens. Okay. I'm taking a little bit time more. Next. Those are the American vowels or contoid. Tongue height, that was what I was mentioning before. Tongue height, and then it is divided on height. Height refers to the heightness of your tongue, the mid of the tongue, and when the tongue is flat. When it is flat, low. And then we have front, the front of your tongue, the central or mid of your tongue, and the back part of your tongue. And here you have the rounded sounds, even if they are tense or not. To infer what sounds are tense or which ones of them are lax, then you have just to take a semester where you can have more time just to identify them. But this is just a general view of phonetic, and then that's why you have just for you to get an idea when you take it. But if you did it, that's just for you to get a feedback. Go on. Thanks. Phonics phonetic transcription, consonant and vowel sound. I told you that when we say transcription, that's why it says phonetic. We have slash and brackets. It says consonant sounds and symbols, subject to a few cautions which will come to shortly. The following symbols mean exactly what you'd expect. Okay, those are just some sounds for you to rehearse, but we won't have time to rehearse all of them. It says here are some English words which have these consonants in initial position, like Mike, November. But in Spanish we say November. We don't say November. We don't say Noviembre. We say Noviembre. It means that we do not have a specific phonological chart, to describe our sounds. Maybe here it does not exist, but if you go to Madrid or Spain, they do it. Instead of saying, for example, corazón, we say corazón, as if it were written with s. Okay, we have pa, bravo, tango. We have golf, not good, but good, golf, and kilo, foxtrot, Victor. Instead of, it is not the same when you say Victor and Victor. Sierra, no, I cannot produce that trill sound because of my tongue tie. It is Sierra in English, but I don't know how to say it in. It is very difficult for me to say it in Spanish because I have a problem with my tongue. And then how do you produce zebra? Wellington, Romeo and Juliet, Lima and Hercules. Okay. This exercise is for you. See if you can write, but you're not gonna write. Then you have just to check it out. The transcription. Just imagine the transcription: glue, cool, car park, rhubarb, sweet dreams, calm, seafood, food, flu, cozy, and please. But please, when you use please as just an adjective or a noun in this case, it sounds like when you use it as a verb, it sounds like z. Okay. You should imagine just how the transcription is done. Second exercise, it should be very. There's something curious here. Work out what consonant sounds occur in these words. Write the for each vowel. If you see the first one, it is sing. As if you were going to say cinco, but without o. Sing. Because there is a phonological rule that says that whenever you have a k sound or a k, an sound before a k sound, it turns into sound. That sound is, nasal sound. King and dom. Kingdom. Banger, increasing, unknown, England. It is not England. It is England. Fan. Beginning. Plunk. Uncoordinated. Well, if you say uncoordinated, that's okay. Uncoordinated or uncoordinated. That's the same. What happens that you can even apply what we know as when you get the words just together like blending, when you blend the word. It happens even when you speak Spanish, like pa qué, pa dónde, pa allá, ta aquí arriba, ta aquí. It happens the same with English too. We say, I gotta go, I wanna go up, star, like that. But if you listen to someone speaking in that way, you may even be like, a little bit confused because you're not acquainted with that colloquial conversation. It says angry and links. Uh, okay, those are other exercises. It says transcribe, but you're not gonna do it. Fumes, communicate, module, computer, speculate, human, lunar, or lunar, either way, music, impunity, and spectacular. Spectacular. It is not a spectacular. It is not a speculate. It is speculate, spectacular. Not spectacular. As if you were Russian. We are not Russian, and then that's why we won't produce those sounds. That's why. Okay, another exercise. Whether the consonant occur between two vowels in these words is voiceless or voice. That's very easy. You have to imagine the sound, and in your mind you should answer what you are required there. It says it is not yellow, it is yellow. Then is voiceless or voiced. Don't say it. Just that's for you. Leisure, music, voiceless. Easy, funny. It is easy for you to identify because you have to put the three fingers or whatever, even your complete, hand here, and you will feel the vibration. It says sugar daddy, sugar mommy. Essay, happy. Hey, it exists, but in the States they say big daddy, or they say pimp daddy. The pimp daddy is, someone who has money and have a lot of ladies, but young ladies. Happy. Okay, here present or present. Present if you use it as a noun, and present if you use it as a verb. That it is a variation stuff, but that's morphology. That's not part of my. It was yesterday. Ladder. But if you listen to the word ladder, that's okay. But ladder is American. Oh, the one before. Then it said there, or broda. Broda is correct. Remember that we began pointing out that about the variation, understanding the variation. Broda or brother, even brody. Trophy. When you're in a contest and you're the winner, you get a trophy. Okay, next. Glottal stop. Okay, those are just some sounds with the glottal. Sometimes it turns a little bit difficult because we don't use to produce glottal sounds. Even for me, it was very difficult, but as time went by, I could, get it. And it said, for example, important. Even important, in the States, they don't like to use that word so much. They use essential or significant. Instead of saying, oh, that's very important, they would say like, that's very significant or essential. It is important. We have but, and But the only sound that you have to produce is the Latin, written, curtain, mount. You have to rehearse with those sounds, and then you will get them. Next. Figurative pronunciation, and this is just for you to have an idea of those sounds. Okay. Here are the sounds that we produce in, in our Panamanian context, nature. It says nature, but that's figurative. Because if you use it correctly, you would say like nature, but it sounds alike. Future or future. Culture instead of culture or culture. In English is but this is figurative. Gesture, gesture. It sounds similar, but that's just for you to have like a kind of tip, just to be able. As time goes by, you will, go improving and improving. But it is not just a matter of. That's just a matter of time. It does not mean that from now, today, and for tomorrow, you're not gonna get those sounds. You have just to rehearse them. Gestures, structure, mixture, and censure. Is censure, mixture. Those, those sounds are affricate. This sound is affricate. Okay, next. Those are just kinds of tips. Pronunciation tips. Rise, by, buys, but in our Panamanian context, instead of saying buys, we say buys. Or bike, instead of saying, well, bike is okay, but not buys. Price, slice, but some people say like a slice. Give me a slice of cheese. Instead of saying like give me a slice of cheese. Tense e. Ripe, lime, time, chime. This one chime, but this is just figurative. Chime, when the bell rings, or you ring it many times. That's what we call, well, that's what it is called, chime. And crime very. But crime, it does not refer just to murder. It refers to any legal crime. Next one. Words with the sound u. It says like saw, claw, draw, flaw, as if they were, as if they had an accent, but that's just figurative. Draw, flaw, no, not zo, but the. It in Spain, they produce the instead of saying do, they say like corazón, fun, but not here in Panama. Straw, that straw, bow, down, and hook, no hook, hook. Words with you, combination, cute, film, those are figurative. That's what I want you just to be aware of. It does not mean that you have to produce. But what you have to avoid is just to try to imitate a native speaker, or as if you were a broadcaster. It doesn't work, because here the most important is you to communicate. It doesn't matter if you make mistakes or not. As time goes by, you will improve it. It says, fuse, huge, June, lure, mule, muse, and mute and pure. Simple. But when you have a b and it is silent, no wordless, but or soundless. Soundless is like mute. It says a plum, bomb, like butter, bombing, like climb, climber, and comb, and even come and come and dead. When you skip it because that's a phonological rule. And even when you do transcription, it turns into a phonetical rule. Any questions up to here? Well, no, anyone. There. That for the rest of your group, turn it on.
Now, yes. So what I would like to ask about something is where does the X sound fall on those vocoids? And
That's a combination.
yeah, but
K and S.
yeah, but
Like
what I'm trying
us.
to yeah, but what I was trying to say is that where does it have like a definition in those vocoids? Like I just said,
German.
okay, you're answering already for me. Thank you.
Okay, next one. Remember that in English is a Germanic language, and Spanish is a Ro- Romance language, as French, Italian, and Portuguese. Well, that was what we study, in linguistics. All roots of languages. Any other question? Do we have time? Time? Are we okay? Okay. Then that would be it. And it was a pleasure for me to talk about what I like. I would like phonetic because that's my major. But for this, well, very short. Well, I didn't want to to take long because of time, and this room is gonna be used eventually. And then that's why. In any way. Now you got the answer to this guessing, statement. What three letters of the alphabet go for your body? The R and the G. Energy. Sing.
Some questions for
Just one.
Professor Omar. Questions?
Complain, recommendation,
I think
conclusion.
undoubtedly, you are an expert in this field. That's he always says that. I mean, when we meet and we talk, I say, "Hey, I like phonetics. I like phonology," and I think that we don't have any doubts about it. It was clear.
That's just a
Okay,
matter of
just a
rehearsing,
comment,
practicing.
or one of you that want to say some words to
Words.
Professor Omar to thank for this conference. I don't know. That's up to you. It's your time. Let's give a great applause for him.
We were missing just coffee
Yeah.
for sleeping people.
Yeah. Next year maybe. Next year we have more time and we can organize it better. Okay. Thank you so much, Magister Omar Pinzon, for this wonderful conference in the field of phonetics. Okay, I think we had the opportunity to share enough examples, enough material regarding to this interesting topic. Okay. Okay, let's continue. Well, um,